It was so tough because our dad came for us after some time, and immediately he got married to another woman.
So what was transpiring in the home before the separation? Can you recollect anything?
Yeah. My dad I love my dad so much, so even if I talk about it, know that I'm talking about it out of love.
Right.
So he used to drink a lot,
yes.
and he would break out some fights just from out of anything.
You're welcome, our viewer. It's gorgeous time again where we talk about gorgeous women, and I believe you're one of us. Karibu sana. In case you're not a woman and you're watching, I believe there's a gorgeous woman that you will impact by hearing what you're hearing. I am Reverend Ruth Wamoyo, and this is Covenant Television Network, CTN TV, and this is a gorgeous show where, again, we talk about women, we talk about our empowerment, the experiences we've been through, and just helping another girl makes us better. And just like usual, we are joined by a wonderful guest who has a marvelous story, and you need to just stand by there and listen to her story, and you will be inspired. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
I call you Pastor or Sister Victorious. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, there is a story behind your Victorious, because rarely do you hear girls and ladies being called Victorious.
Yeah,
Can you tell us the story of your name as you introduce yourself?
No, my name is Dorcas. I was born as Dorcas,
Yes.
Boy, in Kipipili, Miharati.
Miharati.
Yeah.
Great.
And I thank God because of this moment he has given us.
Amen.
And even the privilege.
Yeah.
Now, I was born to Moses Kadenye in Los Kenya.
Yes.
And I was born with two siblings. I have an elder brother and a smaller one.
Wow.
And I thank God for them because
Amen.
they have made me who I am today.
Amen.
Now, in 2010, I changed my name to Victorious because of what the Lord did for me. The victories he awarded me were so marvelous that I couldn't remain as Dorcas and just decided to call myself Victorious.
So did you drop the name Dorcas, or you use both?
I use both.
Okay.
I use both, but Victorious is more sounding to me than Dorcas.
Great.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a tip that when sometimes you give yourself names. Actually, I've seen that in the Bible. Every time they would come to a place like Gilgal, their shame is removed.
Sure.
They say, I call it Gilgal. They will go to a place called that's far the Lord has brought us. They call it Ebenezer. And of course, God changed names. So we really believe that you have a reason as to why.
Sure.
So probably, I know you don't ask a lady how old are you, but probably could you tell us more about your school life?
I was introduced to a school in Kipipiri.
Yes.
That was back in 1996.
1996.
Yeah, that's when I joined class 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so, and I completed in 2003.
Yes.
But apparently because of the shakers that I experienced,
Yes.
I went to about 4 primary schools.
Yes.
And later joined my high school.
Yes.
Which was in Murungaro.
Murungaro.
Yeah.
That's in the same area.
Not really. Murungaro is in Kinagop.
In Kinagop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Great.
That's why I joined my Form 1.
Yeah.
Apparently the school was so expensive, so my mom could not be able to cater for it.
Yes.
I went back to Miharati.
Okay.
Or I went to a school that is called Mahendu.
Wow, so those of you who hail from those areas, she's mentioning names there, Morogaro, Mehendu, Meharati.
Yeah.
So in case you are from there, just shout out and tell her, hey, we are watching. And this is the gorgeous show. As always, we bring to you awesome guests. She looks very humble, very innocent, but I believe she has a story behind it. Yeah. And the topic of today is the impact of separation on children, or probably not just separation. In case any parent dies, what is the impact of death of one parent or the separation of parents? And I believe in the modern day society we are living in, divorce, separation is becoming so popular and becoming more prevalent. ambivalent, but we are going to learn from our sister Victorious how the journey was. And in case your marriage is shaky, probably if you feel you can make things right, you will know from somebody that has experienced it the impact of divorce or separation on children. See you after the break. So welcome back, Victorious.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we were in those areas, Kipipiri, Miharate, Morongaro, and all the people that schooled with you. I believe they will just shout out and say, we saw you.
Sure,
so
sure.
how was it like growing up without one of your parents? Could you tell us how it happened and when it happened?
Now, the first shake-up was when I was in class 4. That's when my mom left first.
Yeah.
And you know, my mom being a Marian, in those days, I don't know how it happened.
Marian is from Meru.
Yeah.
Hey, wow.
I don't know how it happens nowadays, but back then, they never used to carry their children to their homes.
Okay.
So me and my elder brother was left at my grandmother's place, and now my younger brother went with my mom. So it was so tough because our dad came for us after some time, and immediately he got married to another woman.
So what was transpiring in the home before the separation? Can you recollect anything?
Yeah, my dad I love my dad so much, so even if I talk about it, know that I'm talking about it out of love.
Yeah, right.
So he used to drink a lot,
Yes.
and he would break out some fights just from out of anything. So my mom would suffer a lot of beatings and all that. So I think she was so much fed up until she just decided to walk out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know, did she tell you, or did you see signs of her walking out?
Yeah, because she took us to our grandmother's place and told us she would come for us later after she goes and settle.
The grandmother of your father?
Yeah,
or
yeah, my father, yeah.
Okay.
She's a Marian, so Meru don't carry their children to the... Back then, I don't know how it is right now. Yeah.
So now you're left at your grandma's house, so you're not going to school?
Yeah, that time we were not. I think it was a holiday, because when the schools were opening, that's when our dad came back for us. He took us, and he had already gotten another wife.
Within a span of how long?
I think by the time my mom was leaving, the lady was in my dad's life.
Wow.
Yeah, so she just came in.
So now you come from your grandmother's house, and now you come to your house, and you find a stranger. Can you walk us through the journey? How was it?
It was not easy for us,
Yeah.
because she was very young.
Oh.
She was very young, and she would not be, we would see her as a sister to us. So it was not easy for us even to call her mom or anything.
Were you forced to call her mom?
Of course, my dad would do so.
How would he do it? A beating?
No. He just tell us, you have to respect her. She's your mom. She's studying in your mother's place. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but we were not able to do so. After some time, I think after my mom heard from people how much we are struggling, she came back. That time, my dad had promised to take me to a boarding school.
Okay, maybe just before then. Was your father still drinking, even after your mom left?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So did this young wife experience the same beating like your mother?
Not really.
Not really?
Yeah.
What was different about her?
I think she was just young. And
she was just young?
Yeah.
Was she your age mate or just
my
relative?
brothers?
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
My elder brother.
Your elder brother is how old?
Right now he's about 32.
32?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that could have been pretty young.
Yeah.
And did your father treat you differently with now the wife?
For me, no. He used to love me so much. But for my elder brother, he could beat him out of anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. And how was she when the new wife came? Did she accept you?
No, the wife.
Yeah.
It is hard for her to accept us, and in that age, it was hard even for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you also had your own issues.
Yeah.
So kindly take us through your emotional issues. How were you feeling emotionally? Did it affect your academics? Take us through that journey in detail.
Academics, it did a lot.
Yeah.
I used to be among the best performers in the school, and even the teachers did love me so much.
Yeah.
But you see, we used to have 2G because the wife would cook on her own, and us would cook our own food.
Why is that?
I just don't know. We just found it like that. The dad was doing her shopping and our shopping.
And you were living in the same house?
Yeah.
So you used to do the cooking?
Yeah.
At what age?
I was around 10.
Around 10?
Yeah.
When your mom was there, did you know how to cook?
No. I just got to know now then. When she left, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you used to cook for you and your brother?
Yeah.
After you leave school?
Yeah.
And when going to school?
Yeah. We would wake up very early and do that.
That must have been tough.
Yeah, it was. So it affected me academically.
Yeah.
And also the mini transfers we got for the school, it also affected us. We could barely catch up because of after one term we are in another school and all that.
Why is that?
Because you see, when we went to our grandmother's place, at some point we went to school there for, I think, a term.
Okay.
Yeah, then our dad came back for us. We went to Mahendu now. Yeah.
So at what point did your mom come?
When I was in class 4. When I was in class 6, she came back.
So you had like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Where you lived with the stepmom. What was it like? What was it like? Can take us into that relationship? Or was it mutual? Was it avoiding? Or what kind of relationship did you have?
I think it was all about kusemana. Daddy, mom did this for me. You know, it was all about that.
I know.
And they don't respect me. All that. But I thank God because I knew so much how to pray even back then.
You knew how to pray?
Yeah, I would pray for God to prevent some things to happen.
So would you probably the relationship you had with your stepmother, can you solely blame her? Or do you feel even you as kids contributed, felt like she came as a stranger, she came to spoil the relationship you had? Do you feel some anger towards her?
No, I don't.
Not now,
No.
then?
Yeah, I did. Back then I used to wonder, why would you come and, because I think that is part of why my mom left.
Yeah.
Why would you just come and interrupt in the house that was so much well? We used to be well up.
Yeah.
And now everything has been ruined because of that relationship.
Yeah.
So I used to dislike her back then.
So what are the kind of things you used to do to her? Can you remember some?
Sometimes when sorry to say this, when she got pregnant and I would be told to go and remove the puke, she used to puke a lot.
Yeah.
I would just refuse and allow them to stay there for a whole day. I would just ignore doing good things for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then would you get a beating out of it?
From my dad, no. Not even from her.
Not even from her?
No.
So
the only person who used to suffer was my brother. Yeah.
Why was it treated differently?
I don't know, but my brother was also very rude to that woman.
Okay.
And they never used to connect at all.
Yeah.
For him, he would even abuse her.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is because of the anger.
Yeah.
The betrayal. You felt like she betrayed the trust that you had in your family.
Yeah.
So I believe that is why you acted that way.
Yeah, yeah.
So before we now go to how you used to pray and how you were, were you going to church at that time?
Yeah, I used to. I think I was the best Sunday school girl back then because I used to read all the songs. We used to compete with other girls to do the songs, to read the Sunday school. I was placed in AIC where we have star, cadet, and then we used to graduate in those levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did the Sunday school teachers or the church try to help you through that journey?
Yeah.
Is there any one of you that worked with you?
Yeah.
You can give them
Our
credit
teachers.
for it on the camera.
Yeah, I remember Mama Thane, she used to be a good mom to us. I remember another shows from, I think it's called Wakagai. She used to be a good mom, a show to us.
Yeah.
She used to give us food, to give us water. So we would pass by that place as we get water when we are going home because it was near our home.
Oh, so you used to fetch water?
Yeah.
Like the village way?
Yeah.
With mtungis?
Yeah.
So you used to fetch your own water and your stepmother would fetch her own?
No, we used to. When we fetch water,
Yeah.
she would use ours.
And when she fetches?
She never used to fetch.
It used to be you?
Yeah.
Were you using firewood?
Yeah, even the firewood. I remember when my mom came back, we were in the forest. She got us in the forest.
Trying to look for firewood?
Firewood, yeah.
Wow. That must have been hard.
Yeah, but I thank God because it has made me strong.
It is part of your story.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to look at, in the church, is there anybody who addressed it? Like, they addressed the real issues, like your mother and your father have separated. Is there anybody who talked about it with you? Or they just were nice to you?
They were just nice to us. Nobody ever talked about it into details or would guide us on this is how you cope up with these things. Yeah, nobody.
So did you feel like you had some bottled emotions in you? Yeah. And which were they?
Yeah, they were there because I used to feel alone. I was born the only daughter. Yeah. So I used to feel so much alone. And even for my brother, because of the many beatings, I used to wonder why. So it was so emotional for us. Even in school, we could not even concentrate very well. Yeah.
And the teachers in school, did they try to work it out with you?
I think nobody knew.
Nobody knew?
Especially from the school.
You did not disclose that? Wow. Why? You felt ashamed about it?
Yeah, it was somehow not, it never sounded so good to go spreading it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Wow. But you never also got any bullying, any kind of backlash from your fellow students?
No, because they never, not many of them used to know. Okay. Except now in high school where maybe they are mature people.
Great. Wow, we are getting to understand the life of Victoria's and her brother after the separation of the father and mother. And of course, immediately when the mother left, there was a younger wife who was almost the age of the brother that was brought in. We are just talking about their journey, what she had to go through and what to endure, to encourage you and to tell you, even though life takes you in a direction you never anticipated, there is still hope. You are coming after the break, and now we'll talk about the return of the real mother and the journey from there, her marriage, her success. We'll talk about it all. Stay tuned. See you after the break. Welcome back, our viewer. Before the break, we were discussing about the life they had to go through and endure when their mother and dad separated. And we are talking about the comeback of your mother. Did it ever happen?
It never happened.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it has not happened.
But you told me at one time that your mom heard that you were not doing very well. So what steps did she take? Yeah,
she came for some few days.
Yeah.
And then they both left. Now the young married woman left.
She came into the home?
Yeah.
And the young wife was there?
Yeah.
And your dad is in the house, and you're in the house, and your mom is in the house?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was all chaos.
Yeah.
And at some point, they all now went. And now my dad was left alone again.
So what was transpiring in that home in those few days? How many days were they? Can you try to guess?
Yeah, it was maybe around half a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Half a year?
Yeah. At some point, they were staying in one house. Later, my dad saw it was getting bad, and he built my mom another house. And after some time, it was even more worse. So my mom decided to leave completely. They said they divided us. My mom went with my two brothers, and I still stuck with my dad.
Did you choose to stay with your dad?
Yeah, I did.
Why did you choose?
I just don't know. I just loved my dad that much. Wow. It's not that I hated my mom, but I just loved to stay with my dad. And I would feel for him. Yeah. Yeah. Now that he's been left all alone, I would feel.
Was he still drinking?
Yeah.
Every day?
Dad has never been able to stop drinking.
Even to date?
Even to date.
And when he was having the two wives in the same compound, Was he giving them a beating, or he had reformed?
He would.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Even the younger wife?
Yeah. Yeah.
And your brother would get a beating as well?
Yeah.
So every time you'd come, you, of course, definitely not be very comfortable.
But sometimes he used to be very good.
Okay.
I had a way of calming my dad down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you took the responsibility of taking care of him. So how did you do it? How are you doing it?
My dad used to love me so much.
Yeah.
And I used to sing for him, and he would love that.
Wow.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
And we used to go, when we go even to churches, he would tell me, go sing a song today and I'll buy you something. He really loved to hear me sing. Yeah.
That is quite something.
I also used to pray so much for him. Yeah.
So when he's left alone, you felt responsible to take care of him.
Yeah.
So you were left, you and him, in the house.
Yeah, but he didn't want it, so he took me to his brother's home, which is almost close to our home. Yeah.
At that time, how old were you?
I was 12 because I was in class 7.
Class 7.
Yeah.
So so who taught you about girl issues? Because definitely at that time, girl issues are coming, your body is changing. Did you get somebody to mentor you?
No. God in his own ways. I went to high school when I was still...
Yeah. You're still fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I learned a lot from high school.
From high school?
Yeah.
Great. So you stayed at your grandmother's house for how long?
Now then I was in class 7, and now my dad agreed to take me to school there because he couldn't stay with him. So I stayed at my grandmother's place for the whole of class 7. Yeah. In class 8 I went back. Yeah. I completed. My mom now came officially for me when I completed class 8, and I agreed. I went to Form 1, but she was not able to cater for it, so I went back to my dad. I think I have lived a life of coming, going, coming, going. I went to my dad. I dropped out in Form 2 because that's when I went back to my dad's place. He couldn't, I don't know why he never took me to school back then. So I dropped out, and that's when I cried to God and told God, if I'll see myself holding a certificate of class 8, I will thank you and I will testify. And I remember some days back I posted it on Facebook. Yeah, because the Lord did it for me. So after dropping out, now Form 2 second term, I went to a school in Miharati, now Miharati Secondary School. He worked there. He sold Tiba to them, so they never paid him. Instead, they put it as my school fees. So Form 2 second term and third term, I was sorted. Come Form 3, he could not pay school fees. I don't know why. And that time he had remarried. He had another wife.
Wow. After how long?
After, I think 2 years, because he married when I went to high school. Yeah.
You got another wife?
Yeah.
So you come back home and you find another wife?
Another wife.
How was it when you found out what?
I think I was used.
You are used?
Yeah.
So
and I
just
knew maybe my
along.
mom will never come back again, so I cooped up with it. Yeah.
So was this wife better than the other one?
Yeah. But apparently, given that she's a stepmother, even if she do you a little wrong, you'd associate it with that.
Yeah, probably I've always had this narrative, people saying that stepmothers are bad. But I also have felt that sometimes you don't give the whole story, because the stepmother is coming to an already established home, and most of the times the kids are more have related with their own mother. So there are issues of anger, bitterness, you know, all that kind of thing. And then when she steps in, if, as you said, if she does something little, you go off the roof because you feel like she's trying to act like your mother. So can you remember any incident, any confrontation you had with her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in Form 3, life was so tough for me because I never used to school well because of school fees. Like I would go to school, borrow some notes, and then go home and study from home. And I remember this time in December 2nd, 2006.
You even remember the
Very
exact
well,
date?
very well.
Wow.
It was a Saturday and I was out of a wedding. I loved my sister. She got a baby girl, and she's apparently my only sister.
Oh, great.
So I carried a cake for her. I took a cake home for her. So when I got home, I don't know what happened. She poured some paraffin. And now the mother said I was the one who
Is it a stepsister?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she raised a very big issue, and she called me all sort of names. She told me, you go and join your mother, you do whatever. It's so many bad things. Yeah?
And it was just an accident?
Yeah. No, actually it was the daughter who had poured the paraffin.
Oh,
so she
but
thought
she
it
blamed
was me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that day I felt I'm fed up. I can't take it anymore. I bought, those days we used to call it latirati.
Wow.
Yeah. I put it in the mouth and I started chewing slowly by slowly. Wow. Okay, apparently I never wanted to die, but I was feeling I'm fed up. I'm fed up.
So you are eating rat, but in your heart you are saying, I don't want to die. That is indeed faith. So you put it in the mouth?
Yeah, and I started chewing slowly by
Did
slowly.
anybody know what you were doing?
Yeah. Apparently it affected me, so I was taken to hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is the daughter was there, your stepsister was there?
Yeah.
When
she
you were
was
eating?
Small. She was small.
Oh, she was small.
I think 1 year and a half.
Oh, 1 year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started chewing. It can affect, so I slept outside. My dad was called by some people, and he took me to hospital very fast.
Your stepmom was not around when you were doing this?
She was never cared that time. I think she was also maybe fed up. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I chewed until it affected me. I went to hospital. It was sucked out. I was given some counseling. It was also maybe a way of screaming for help.
It's
because
true.
that time my Form 4 it was catered for. Yeah, so in Form 4 I schooled well. Though now the balances for Form 3 were not cleared.
Who catered for you?
I was given a bursary.
A bursary?
Yeah.
So everybody in the village got to know what was happening?
Yeah.
Did you feel stigmatized in that village?
Yeah, I did. I did. And you see, when we were going for a camp, for a youth camp, and I was told, you will not go because people who kill themselves don't go to camps.
Who told you that?
Some villagers.
Some villagers, people who kill themselves.
Don't go for Christianity or believe that things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you react?
I just talked to my dad and he allowed me to go.
So people are not even interested in what was making you take the rat. To them, they just labeled you as a suicidal person. Some people.
Yeah.
Did you have somebody who closely tried to work with you? Maybe did your mother come back? Was she aware of what you were happening?
Yeah, she talked, although she never carried me, but she talked to me. I also got much help from my physics teacher, Mr. Jenga. Yeah, because he took me to the wife and they cancelled me and they gave me a tuition for December. So they worked with me.
Wow.
I'll say they worked with me. Wow. And a lady called Wangari Wamedu.
Wamedu.
Yeah.
So what was pushed you to suicide? Was the lack of appreciation, or was it also associated with your academics? Yeah,
much of it was associated with academics and also lack of love. I wouldn't feel anyone loves me. Yeah. So I felt so alone until I felt I don't have anyone else. So did anybody try to talk to your stepmom about your relationship with her? Yeah. Yeah. Did it change? Friends. Apparently, no. From that time, I think the relationship was so much affected. Yeah. So are they still married until now? Yeah, they are. And how is your relationship? Not so good. Not so good? Okay, it has never been that now tight since then. Yeah. Yeah. Is it that you've never forgiven her? I have, but when you go home and you see like she doesn't want so much with you, you just allow her to be. Okay. Yeah. But I've forgiven everybody, I just have. Wow, you must be a gorgeous lady to even come on TV and talk about it and be an inspiration to somebody else. And I believe God has a greater plan for you. Amen. Because you are privileged to be
just a woman after God's heart. And I will talk about your life and ministry in the next episode. Our viewer, it's really getting better and better. You only hear such stories in Gorgeous on CTN TV. She's been through it all. Raised by, I think, privileged to be raised by like almost 3 mothers at the same time. Of course, we may call it a privilege because by divine default, but it's a journey that sometimes children have to walk through. But if you're a mother and you're there, you can avoid it. But when it is not avoidable, God is a present help in times of trouble. See you after the break. Welcome back, our viewer. My guest is Victorious, and she happens to be a pastor's wife. She pastors at Gatondo North, a church called Glorious Christ Encounter Fellowship. So that is where she is now. But before she gets here, we still have some gaps to fill in. And we go back now. You finish your form 4.
Yeah.
So what happens after there?
Immediately I finished my form 4. I couldn't stay home. So I started planning to get out. So I got a vacant to work as a house help in Nakuru.
A house help?
Yeah.
Wow.
But the moment I was planning for it, my dad realized. So the same day I was supposed to go in Nakuru, he changed my plan and he told me I'll come to my uncle's place here in Nairobi, Kiambu. So that's why I worked as a house help for 1 year.
A house help in your uncle's house?
Yeah, yeah. I was a helping in raising their children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So wow, that is tough. Okay.
So after,
so this time round,
yeah,
your dad is trying to bring you closer, but is your relationship the same anymore?
Yeah, my relationship with my dad has never been bad.
Oh wow, I like the way you talk about him.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it has never been bad because above all, I used to treasure. I knew I would never get another father.
It is true.
Yeah, so I used to treasure him.
So how are you able to move on without your mother? Could he be the reason why you felt strong?
My mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, okay, it's not like she was so much absent. She used to, although my dad never allowed me to go to her place, my mom would always make time to come and see me. Yeah. I know my mom, it's only because her marriage never worked. Otherwise, she loves us so much.
I know that.
Yeah.
Wow, it's good to understand.
Yeah.
All right. So now you go to your uncle's house in Kiambu.
Yeah.
To work as a house girl.
Yeah.
How was it there?
Not so bad. I cooked up very well. I used to love kids, so I raised the kids. Apparently, her daughter was a flower girl now. The daughter I met at 8 months was a flower girl during my wedding because I loved her so much.
How nice.
Yeah.
Did you feel for the first time you were in a home, or were there challenges as well?
There were not so many. There were not many challenges, although I was really aiming to get higher. I was trusting God for better places.
Yes.
Yeah.
To go like to college.
Yeah. And I remember when in Kiambu, I used to carry that girl on my back. I would go to Equity Bank, which was so near. I would stay there and just staring at those people, the bankers, the tellers, and the tellers. Yeah. And I would just admire them.
Wow.
And this time, I don't even have certificates. They were rocked because I never cleared my fees.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a balance, a huge balance. So I don't know how, but I knew if only I would have my certificate, I would do something. So I worked, and after I think 6 months, I had reconciled some money. So I sent to my dad so that he can add me the rest to clear my fees so that I can get the certificate. I don't know what my dad did with the money.
I was just about to ask you.
I don't know what he did with the money.
How much was it?
It was around 7,000, and you see I was being paid 2,000. So having 7,000 at that time.
When was that? Were you being paid 2,000? Which year was that?
It was 2008.
2008.
Yeah.
2,000 per month.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was so discouraged until I was like, I'm fed up. I don't want to do education. I don't want anything to do with even keeping cash. I don't want to save anything. I want to spend everything. I was so fed up. I felt so bad because
So how are you spending the money?
I used to buy clothes for myself, and it was very little, so I would buy maybe just a little.
Second hand, but try to do
hair.
good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what explanation did your dad give after he squandered the 7,000?
Every time I would call him, nasort yo maneno. So I kept waiting to be sorted until it was 3 years still working as a house help. And after the 3 years of working, I continued praying and trusting God. That time I stayed at my uncle's place and left after 1 year. I still went to do house help. And I was never paid more than 2,000.
Wow.
Yeah. It's only one person who called me to stay with our grandmother and promised to pay me 3,000, but apparently he never paid any.
Wow.
So I stayed with that grandmother who used to pray for me. And the little I think I had 8,900 in my account. I went to CASNEB and registered as a CASNEB student to do CPA. So from there, God worked things out. I can't really tell how, it's a long story, but God works things out until I was able to join college, and I used to take care of that grandma while I was in college.
Wow, she allowed you to go to college?
Yeah.
Great.
It was the person now who had employed me, allowed me to, although they never paid me, but they gave me accommodation. So I used to take care of the grandmother when I was going to school. And
did they pay for your college fees, or how did you pay for it?
No. My college fee, after I had paid for the first semester, the second semester I was introduced to school bursaries in VIP, that is Visions Institute of Professionals. They give bursaries. So they would give me 50% bursary. Yeah. And then when I joined the college, I became the intercessory leader of the Christian Union.
Wow.
So we used to meet, and the patron is also a pastor, the patron who used to be the patron of the Christian Union. So he saw me in one of the meetings and told me he wanted to talk to me. That time I had not resumed school because of it. I used to work in at some point I went to Dandora and would sell getheri and gouache there.
You don't even look gouache, you don't even look githeri. Now that's another dimension.
Yeah, I used to sell because it was a 1 month break from school. Yeah. So I used to sell them.
Okay.
So
you are the one who was cooking?
Yeah.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah, I used to cook and sell because I wanted to keep money for the second semester now, because the school only cater for 50%. So the 50 I don't know where to get.
And you would raise
transport that. Because I even walked from Nairobi to Dandora. Wow. I walked. Sometimes I would walk from Dandora, where the train would keep us, would drop us. I used to walk to Saika. Okay. Such distances. So he saw me, he called me and told me that I looked disturbed. So I explained my story and he decided to take care of the remainder, the 50%. Wow. But I used to do the marking. You see the levels I've completed, I would mark those exams, the cuts and the and the tests. Great. Yeah, I used to mark them and earn from it.
Great. Tell us now where you are. You're married to who? How many children?
Now, in 2012, still in the same college, they are alumni. We used to call them alumni, and one of them was a chairman, and we would dad them. So I used to call him dad, and they would come for missions to preach to us. Amen. So when we called them, because at some point I became the Christian Union chair lady, so we called them to preach. So we started boarding. So I joined the church that he was in. So the board became even more strong. And still, he was a dad. So
he was still a dad.
Yeah, he was still a dad.
Amen.
Yeah, he was a dad. And apparently we grew a strong bond.
Yeah.
Whereby he just made me, I had hated men so much.
Yes.
Because I saw men as people who just fail you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I at some point I even said I'll never get married.
I know.
And one of my aunts told me, you know what, Wamboi, they used to call me Wamboi. Never say again that you never get married. Now start confessing and praying for your husband.
Amen.
And that's what I did. I started praying for my husband. That is in 2009. Because all the rest of my days, I was saying I will never get married.
Great. So what is this, the name of this wonderful dad that married you?
He is Pastor George Mwaura Karano. He is to be ordained on 23rd February.
February.
Yeah, that's when.
Where will it be?
In Gatondo
North.
Yeah, Kamwangi.
Kamwangi.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
That is where the ordination will be.
So actually you will also be ordained as a Mrs. Pastor.
Yeah.
How do you have any children?
Yeah, I have 2 children.
Yeah.
I have Jedison Karano, or he's Jedidia, you know Jedidia in the Bible.
Jedidia,
yeah, and Afia Wangari, which is also in the Bible. Afia is a productive woman.
Amen.
Jedidia means the beloved one of God.
Amen.
Yeah.
There is one thing I love about you, your positivity and your willingness to, you know, break through the barriers that life has brought to you. And I believe everybody watching us can learn that from you, that no matter what you've been through, you can overcome, and especially when you anchor your life in God. Our viewer, what a wonderful story. I have not seen such positivity for a long time, where you've been through so much, but still maintain a smile and still keep on hoping, walking from Nairobi to Saika. Amen. And she even doesn't look it. And now married and happy. I believe your story will end well, because where Jesus is, everything will be all right. It's a break for us, and thank you for watching The Gorgeous. Keep sharing with your friends. From me and the crew and everybody in production, we say God bless you. Keep watching the next episode. God bless you.